This short story is written by a woman called Claire Keegan, who traveled to New Orleans, Louisiana, when she was only 17 years old to study English and political science. This can also be seen in her way of telling this short story, but I'll get to that later.
The physical environment.
Is what we would all indicate as high class, which can inter alia be seen on page 145 from line 40 to 41. And I'm now quoting it. It says, his 21st birthday is marked by a dinner at Leonardo's, the fancy seafood restaurant overlooking the water. So this tells us as a reader a little about how they've got a lot of money and how they would like to eat nicely and to show that they've got a lot of money. That's high class. And besides that, they also live in a penthouse on Texas coast. And if you got a lot of money, you also want to live in a nice house with a good view. So this young man's mother is very proud of him. That can be seen on page 146 from line 11 to 14, when she says this. I'm a pig farmer's daughter from Tennessee, and my boy is going to Harvard. When I'm low, I always think of that, and it cheers me up. This tells us a little about that even though that she has a husband who is a millionaire, then she can still feel low and maybe not so satisfied with her life as she would like to be. The mother can also be characterized as a gold digger, which can be seen when the text is telling us the following. After his parents' divorce, his mother said people have no control over who they fall in love with, and a few months later she married a millionaire. This is maybe one of her old patterns that we hear about, which is a pattern that she brought into her new relationship, where she makes herself addicted to another person or another human being. Richard is the young man's mother's wife. He is also the millionaire in the text. He is a Republican who earned his money out of export and real estate. He is what we will characterize as regarding, which can be seen on page 147, the whole episode where they were at the restaurant eating, and then he brings up the subject with Bill Clinton and his key issue that the queers can now join the military. I think that he is affected by the phobia, homophobia, so he doesn't like gay people. He's like the stereotype of white rich people. He does not seem to care about the young man either, because he has a very regarding tone against him when he is talking about how many points he has gotten in the last test in September at the school. There's different kind of symbols in this text, but there's one specific I'd like to focus on, and it's the one on page 145, line 8 till 10, where it says, they are gold-plated cufflinks whose gold is slowly wearing off, revealing the steel underneath. I think that this is a symbol of the young man's eye that is shown. So it's like when the facade is pulled away, this is what you really is, or what you really can see from the inside. Rettelse til what you really are, or ikke is.
And just to add that I did notice that this is the third personal reader. So the title Close to the Water's Edge can be related to the scene where he crosses the highway and he still survives, and then he gets close to the water's edge. Maybe this edge is supposed to indicate the edge of his life, so when he falls into the water, he's close to dying just as well as he's close to the water's edge. So almost like he can feel the death, He can feel the edge of the water. Okay, so when I earlier said that Claire Keegan has studied political science and that we can see it in the text, I mean her way of portraying people very stereotypical about political. For an example, the white millionaire husband, he is a Republican and he is not open to what are called? They are called the queers, or he's calling them the queers, the homos. So he's kind of this stereotypical white man that we see in the medias in the US. And she's kind of telling us as a reader what she think about these kinds of people or their way of thinking, only by telling this story. So without saying I, she kind of says it anyway in the way of telling this story or describing people. We can say that she gives the story its own voice.